In the dim light of the quiet, empty living room, 19-year-old Emma feels a strange sense of loneliness creeping in as she realizes she's home alone for the weekend. Her father had just left on a business trip, leaving her with only the company of her stepbrother, Jason, who she hadn't spent much time with until now. A thunderstorm begins to build outside, casting fleeting shadows across the room and adding to the unsettling stillness. Emma suddenly feels an odd tension in the air, a mix of anticipation and unease. She catches a glimpse of Jason from across the room, noticing his unexpected and intense gaze that makes her pulse quicken. It's as if he's seeing her in a new light, a recognition that stirs something uncharted within her, something she can't quite place yet. Emma's heart races with a mix of intrigue and confusion as Jason moves closer, his expression both familiar and somehow foreign. She knows it's unusual to feel this way, but she can't deny the strange magnetism pulling her toward him. Emma and Jason quickly find themselves in an unexpectedly engaging conversation as they sit together, both avoiding the storm outside. They start discussing their favorite childhood memories, a topic that brings unexpected warmth and laughter between them. Their dialogue is surprisingly open, filled with humor, and shared secrets that neither has talked about before. With each story, Emma feels as though she's seeing a new side of Jason. There's a newfound intensity in his words and a sincerity in his gaze that makes her feel truly seen and understood. The connection forms swiftly, like catching her breath after a long run, leaving her wanting more. As the night wears on, they move closer, their conversation taking on a more serious tone. Jason shares a personal story that reveals a vulnerable side, and Emma feels a surge of empathy, her hand instinctively reaching out to comfort him. There's an unspoken intensity in their closeness, an electric connection that feels oddly inevitable, pulling them together faster than either expected. Emma feels a powerful mix of excitement and guilt as the night deepens. She's captivated by Jason's presence, but a wave of unease keeps breaking through her thoughts, reminding her of the boundaries she might be crossing. Every glance and laugh shared feels charged, pushing her to the edge of something she knows she can't undo. Jason's gaze lingers just a little too long, and Emma's heart pounds. She senses an unspoken question in his eyes, one that matches her own conflicted feelings. "What am I doing?" she thinks, the question loud in her mind, yet her hand stays close to his, hesitant but unwilling to pull away. Silence falls, heavy and thick. Emma's mind races, wrestling with her emotions. Every instinct tells her to stop, to turn away, but her heart aches with a sense of connection she hasn't felt before. She wonders if she's reading too much into it, or if he feels the same, torn between wanting to step back and a powerful urge to stay right where she is. Just as Emma begins to collect her thoughts, Jason speaks up, his voice low and hesitant. "Emma, there's something I need to tell you, something I've never told anyone," he says, eyes fixed on the floor. His voice is laced with vulnerability, and she can feel the weight of his words. Jason shares a secret from his past, a time when he felt abandoned and misunderstood, even by those closest to him. Emma listens in stunned silence, realizing this part of Jason's life that no one else knows. The shared vulnerability deepens their connection, leaving her both touched and unsettled. Emma finds herself seeing Jason in a new light, her empathy overpowering her previous doubts. She feels a renewed urge to be there for him, sensing the depth of his struggle. At this moment, she understands the fragility of his confidence and feels torn between wanting to comfort him and fearing the emotional path they're walking together. Emma can't shake the intensity of her feelings after Jason's confession, yet the weight of their growing closeness feels like too much. Every shared glance and quiet conversation only intensifies her turmoil. She's caught between her sense of loyalty to her family and her undeniable bond with Jason, each side pulling at her with increasing urgency. One evening, as they sit together in tense silence, Emma feels the words on the tip of her tongue. A question she's been afraid to ask, a truth she's been reluctant to face. "Jason, what are we doing?" she finally whispers, her voice breaking. Her heart pounds as the unspoken finally hangs in the air, leaving them both exposed. Jason's silence speaks volumes, his expression torn between affection and conflict. They both know their connection has crossed boundaries neither imagined. The intensity of the moment leaves Emma reeling, realizing she can no longer ignore the possible fallout or the strain on her family. The weight of her decision looms, and the scene ends with her struggling to hold back tears, unable to see a clear path forward. After days of reflection, Emma realizes that her bond with Jason, while powerful, cannot go on without harming everyone involved. She feels the weight of her decision, but knows it's necessary. She meets Jason one last time to face the truth, both of them sharing an unspoken understanding of the pain and growth they've experienced together. In a quiet, heartfelt conversation, Emma tells Jason, "We both know we can't keep going like this. We need to find ourselves outside of each other." Jason nods, visibly emotional but resigned. The gravity of their farewell is bittersweet, as they part ways with mutual respect and understanding that while their connection was real, it cannot continue. With time, Emma finds peace, embracing new experiences and personal growth. Jason, too, learns to move on, grateful for the moments shared but ready to step into a different path. The story closes with Emma reflecting on the whirlwind of emotions and the valuable lesson learned, leaving the audience with a sense of closure and the weight of an experience that, though complex, led to clarity and self-discovery. Sometimes the connections we form teach us more about ourselves than we ever imagined. It takes courage to confront our feelings and make hard choices that ultimately respect everyone involved. True strength lies not just in holding on to what feels right in the moment, but in knowing when to let go for the sake of growth and integrity. This story reminds us that real love and respect often means stepping away and allowing each person to find their own path.